My name is Rebecca Whitehurst, and I'm currently in Moscow as a Fulbright scholar, and I'm working in the theater. And my interest is in both choreography and in acting. I received an MFA in acting from the American Repertory Theater at Harvard / Mahat, because there's a small program that we do here, which made me fall in love with Russia. And before that, I did MFA work in choreography at the California Institute of the Arts. And so I was very interested to see how the two can combine. And when I found Alla Segalova, who was the wife of my acting teacher, Roman Kozak, and I invited her to see some of my work, and I saw a lot of her work, we kind of fell in love with what the other person does and the gifts that they have and the skills that we have both been working toward. And she invited me to come here and to work with her, to follow her, to see what she does, both as a teacher and as a professional choreographer and as an actor, which are all of the things that I have always wanted to do and have tried to do, but not nearly on the level that she does. So, in order for me to come here, I thought perhaps I need some money. So I applied for a Fulbright, and thanks to the Moscow Art Theater and to people at the American Repertory Theater, I was able to receive the Fulbright and came over. And I kind of thought I would just be following Alla Segalova, but what happened is because she was so involved with casting, she simply asked the show casting right. at Mosoviet, that she asked me to teach her class. So there I was with my very limited Russian, even though I'm supposed to be fluent, and I was teaching the 4th year class at the Moscow Art Theater School. And what I was to teach them was up to me. And so I began to teach them the stuff, the movement stuff that I think is most important for actors. And this included Alexander work and yoga and Pilates and like postmodern gesture movement that's very ergonomic and with a lot of breath and ease. Because I find that these are qualities that every actor should be able to access. And here they have a lot of strength, but oftentimes they don't, especially the men, have ease, which can then transform into their characters. And I also taught them about Laban and all various qualities that one can do on stage, and about being direct versus indirect, or weight, and how you can combine all of these things to make characters and to explore how to stage things that are maybe more interesting or fuel something in you. And it's an interesting way of working. And when Alla came one time to my class, she said, she saw some of the work I was choreographing on them and said, why don't you actually create something and we'll perform it? So I created a 40-minute piece that was dedicated to Roman Kozak, based on literature, exile poetry, and the idea of flight. And so these students are now performing this on a regular basis. And I was also very lucky to work with these students because they have all of these shows that they're doing in their 4th year. Richard III, some stories by Salinger, and Maliki Tragedy and Little Tragedies. And which is interesting because I did Little Tragedies when I was here in English, not as good, with the same director, Marina Brusnikina. So it was very incredible to work then from another angle on the very same production. And because I was teaching them movement, I became kind of like a movement advisor on all of their different shows. And so I got to work with these different directors and work with the students in all of these different aspects and really learn how to help create actors' movement and characters, which was just an incredible task to be put upon, and an incredible learning experience. And I am so thankful to Mr. Smeliansky and to Alla Segalova for allowing me the opportunity to work with such talented students and already so skillful. Because they're in their 4th year, they have already learned so much. And to be able to work with them is really a gift. I can't imagine. In fact, one of my teachers from Harvard came over and watched a class that I taught, and she said, you know, you will never again get such amazing students if you come to America.
I want to, I don't know if I'm spilling beans or not right now, but
oh yes,
The Knipper Chekhov
Yes.
idea you have.
What I'm currently very interested in doing is researching Olga Knipper Chekhova. And I would like to take that research and form a one-woman play. And I hope to understand her as best as I can, and let that be a jumping off point for a piece that will be very physical theater. I'm very inspired by the School of Dramatic Art and what they do visually, and I'm also interested in not only showing her, but showing her relationships and how influential she was as a human being, to have been at the origin of the Moscow Art Theater, to have been the wife of Chekhov. And so I'm very interested in her as a human being and what role she played in the transformation of theater in Russia at the turn of the century. And my hope is to have this be a traveling one-woman show throughout America that will be, yes, a piece of art, hopefully, but also an education to people in America, because we hear of Chekhov and we don't of Olga. And why? And I think she's an important person to investigate.